Welcome to the Babbles Nonsense podcast, where I'm your host, Jonna Grimes, and we're here to discuss any and all things, but especially the shit that I want to talk about. Because let's face it, I have a lot of shit to say, and after all, you are listening to my verbal diary. Let's get started. Welcome back to the Babbles Nonsense podcast. I have a good friend here that I work with at a place that still will remain nameless. She's a good friend of mine. We're pretty much the same when it comes to working in the ER. We have very blunt personalities, I would like to call it. Other people like to call it rude. I don't know. But here's Valerie.
Blunt.
Hey, Valerie, what's up?
Hi.
So I'm not drinking alcohol today, guys. So my drink of choice is water with a Noon tablet, which is an electrolyte tablet. And I bought my girl here some Jack Daniels because she's a whiskey kind of girl.
Absolutely.
I am on a 30-day hiatus, no alcohol. We'll see how long that lasts, because last time it literally lasted 2 days. But I'm trying to be good until I go to Disney, because we all know that Disney has the best drinks and the best food. So
well, after this podcast, you might want to drink. So.
Probably, yeah. We were kind of already having a conversation before this podcast, because we were just like, you know what, we're just going to freestyle it. We don't even know what we're going to talk about. I needed an episode, so I was like, Val, you're cool, you're funny, come on. And so we were just going to freestyle it, but then we started talking about like toxic relationships and our personalities and all that. So we'll get into that. But first, we did kind of want to talk about tattoos.
Yeah.
Because
I have a lot.
because number one, Val has a lot of tattoos and she likes to talk about her tattoos. So how many tattoos do you have, Val?
Like over 20.
Oh,
I think.
really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I have a lot. I even have like this mustache on my finger. Yeah. It's not my proudest moment. I got it in somebody's basement in Panama City on vacation.
Oh my God. Were you safe?
I mean, I guess.
Did they like open stuff in front of you? No. Have you been tested?
Yes. Yes, I actually had blood drawn after that. My friend was like, let's go get a tattoo. My brother-in-law has a gun. I'm like, kind of drunk. And I was like, sure. And so we go, and I'm in this man's basement, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm about to be like on SVU or something, like, let me just go ahead and get something, because like his tattoos weren't that great. So I drew like a little mustache, and now I have a mustache on my finger.
Funny.
Yeah.
And they say tattoos on your fingers don't last very long.
This one's lasted 15 years.
Well,
give or take.
Okay. Well, then
So here it is.
Did it hurt when he did it?
Kind of.
Do you think he went like really deep?
I don't know.
So have you gotten any other tattoos outside of a tattoo shop?
Yeah.
What is wrong with you?
I don't know. I know better. That's the thing. Like, I'm a nurse. I know better. But
were they safe?
When in Rome. Actually, no. I'm super embarrassed to even say this. So look, I was dating this guy, and it was dating, quotation marks, y'all. So we're in his brother-in-law had a tattoo gun. His brother-in-law had a tattoo gun, and he brought it into the living room, and he was like, do y'all want a tattoo? So like I tattooed somebody, and somebody tattooed me, and then I tattooed this dude's initials on my heel, and I tattooed my initials on his knee, and
I cannot with you.
Me
right
and
now.
him shared the same needle, and
No,
we did. Yes,
no.
we did. I'm clean. I got papers to prove it. I have a whole ass pedigree.
You are
Like,
lucky.
I'm very lucky.
You are lucky.
Yep.
So advice is don't go to basements. Don't go to people's houses unless they are a professional and they are doing it out of their house and they are opening instruments in front of you guys.
Correct.
Okay.
You get what you pay for, and people kill me because they'll be like, well, I had to wait for so long. Well, yeah, because you're waiting because they have people scheduled, like they're that good.
Yeah, they're good.
Like you get what you pay for sometimes. And so like, you just have to, you need to do your research on your people. I got a tattoo on the top of my foot one time because I was like, let's go get a tattoo. And I ended up getting a really bad staph infection and almost was hospitalized. And the doctor told me that if I waited a couple days longer, they may have possibly had to amputate.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's the star on top of my foot. Like it has like you see where it's got like little pieces of color missing. Those are like really deep scabs. Like my whole leg was swollen. It was
that here in Huntsville?
It was in Athens. It was at, can I say?
Well, I wouldn't.
No, let's not. Okay.
Let's
but
not
either
name
way,
names.
I called them and was like, hey, I have a staph infection. And he said, Well, it must be the way that you cared for it. And I was like, no. I said, this isn't my first one. Like, and I had got this when I was like 22, maybe, give or take. And he's like, well, my wife is a CNA and she's medical. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to let you go. Thanks.
Wow. That's crazy. So I was going to ask you, what's your strangest tattoo? Would you say the mustache tattoo is the strangest?
I have a dog.
What is a dog?
A mermaid. Like it's a dog with a mermaid tail.
So you think that's your strangest?
I don't know. I guess.
Where's that located on your body?
On my leg. On my thigh.
How big is it?
Like from almost the bend of my hip almost to my knee. But it's like it's a mermaid woman holding her dog. Okay. It's sitting on a rock.
Is there a meaning behind that tattoo?
No.
At all? Nothing.
No.
You just like getting tattoos. Do you find it therapeutic? Like, I know my sister has a lot of tattoos, and she finds it like when she's upset or angry or something like that, she finds it very therapeutic to go and get a tattoo. I don't know. Like, I'm not saying that she has said this to me, but in my mind as a nurse, I interpret it as like people who cut themselves.
Yeah.
Like it releases that. I'm just saying, like, because it kind of hurts. I have tattoos. I have 4. Well, I had 6. I had 2 removed.
Did you really?
Yeah, I had 2 removed. Like, it's gone. It's completely gone.
Oh.
Yeah, that shit hurts worse than getting the tattoo. I recommend, please know what you want. And do you want this to be on your body forever?
Well, I actually got 3 covered up on my back. I just got like a huge back piece that goes from like the top of my shoulders down onto my butt.
Yeah.
But.
Oh, I lied. I have 2 removed, 1 partially removed, and 1 covered up. This one was partially removed, and then it was covered up.
Okay. This one that's on my forearm just got covered up. I didn't even I went to some guy and he was like, yeah, I can get it to, lighten up or whatever. And
do you now have a tattoo artist you go to,
yes.
Or do you just keep going to random places?
I learned my lesson. God, did I learn my lesson. So like after my tattoo on my foot, I was like, I'm never getting another tattoo ever again. This is awful. And then of course now I have sleeves and my back's done and legs and side and everything else. But yes, I have one guy that I go to.
Where do you go?
I go to Sam at Black Hearts.
Where's that at?
It's in Huntsville, like where Moody Mondays is.
Yeah.
Is that good English? Moody Mondays? Yeah, is.
Don't worry. I always tell my listeners that I'm grammatically challenged.
So if you go under the Parkway in
Okay.
Huntsville, like on University, it's like up on the left.
So you only go to him now?
Yes, only him.
Do you have any plans for any more tattoos?
Yeah. I just got my back done, and so I've got to get it shaded and colored and did all that.
Like your whole entire back?
Yeah, it's my whole entire back.
Are you going to do any, like, what are you going to do when you run out of, like, I asked my sister this, like, what are you going to do when you run out of room?
I don't think I am yet.
Because you can't do your face in the nursing field.
So I see people with their face tattooed, and I like it on, like, certain people, but
see, I don't like it. Like, I just don't.
It's not for everybody.
It's not. Everyone has their turn-ons and turn-offs.
But a female, if they get their face tattooed a lot of times, like, then you wear makeup. Like, do you know how freaking hard that is to, like, dot around that? I don't even know how they do it. I probably should Google it.
Like, I don't like neck tattoos, and I don't like face.
Ooh, a man with a good neck tattoo?
No.
Sis.
Well, okay, so that's a lie because I did write down some names of some people that I really... tattoos. Yeah. We'll get to that list in a minute. I got to get through my questions first because I had all these questions about
TikTok's
tattoos.
got a lot of tattoos.
Oh, speaking of TikTok, I don't know if I should get TikTok.
You should.
That's what Olivia keeps telling me, but I feel like I'm too old for TikTok and I don't understand it.
So some of it's kind of stupid, but a lot of it depends on like which TikTok you get onto. And it's not like you go searching to get on that certain TikTok, but like I found my way on lesbian TikTok. I'm not even a lesbian.
It's like deep dives and you can't stop.
Yeah. I'm not even a lesbian, but some of these women, I'm just like, huh.
Yeah. Olivia keeps telling me that to get my podcast out in the world. I was like, I don't even know what kind of videos would you do for a podcast on TikTok?
I don't know.
Yeah. Don't know.
I can show you after all this. Like literally it's just people talking or they make jokes or they like, just kind of like what you're doing now, but they're just on the phone.
Just have to figure it out.
I don't know. It's good. You should get a TikTok. And there's a lot of cooking stuff on there, like a lot of recipes.
Okay.
And so like just depends on what you like on your For You page, and it just...
But how's it any different than having Reels on Instagram? Isn't it the same?
Well, Instagram doesn't necessarily like cater to you, so like you have to follow people. Like I don't have to follow anyone at all on there, so it just...
So I can just download the app and look at people's stuff and not follow anyone.
You don't even have to download the app if you don't want to.
Oh, really?
I can send you a TikTok and you can watch it because it'll like pop up on your like Internet Explorer or whatever.
Oh.
And then... or
See,
your Safari or whatever you use. And then you just scroll.
See, that's another podcast. Someone come on this podcast that's a TikTok master.
Teach me how to be tech savvy. Because I straight up tried to leave a review for one of the T-bomb places in Athens and posted it on my wall. Like, my personal wall.
On Facebook?
On Facebook. And
girl,
people were like,
now
where did
I can
you
help
go?
you with that.
And I was like, oh, crap. I'm like one of those mammals who are like, you know, dear so-and-so, it's good to see you, love, whatever. And they act like it's like a letter that they're writing.
Funny. That's funny. So sorry, guys, that we just got off topic. We will get back to the tattoo conversation. I did want to ask you.
Unless you care about my lesbian TikTok, because we can talk about that too.
We'll save that for another one.
My tragus ring keeps this from like sticking in my ear.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
She's talking about her headphones. She has a tragus earring in her ear, so her headphones won't stay in.
I used to have a lot of piercings.
You took them out for work?
This I took out when I was in like my Monroe. I took out when I was in nursing school. I
Did
had
you-
my nose pierced twice.
Did you ever have those dermal piercings?
I did. I had 2 dermal anchors
How do
right
they-
here under my chest.
No, I just don't get them. I don't understand them.
I don't know. They're cute. I ripped one out with my hair. Like when I was in the shower, I like put my hair to the side and was like brushing it. And then when I flipped my hair back, I ripped it out.
Oh.
And the other one just like grew out. So
All right. Couple more questions for
Okay.
your tattoos.
let me
We are
not
so.
gulp in front
That's
of
why I
the
love my
microphone.
podcast, because it's called Babbles Nonsense, because that's what I do. I remind everyone when they're listening, when they're like, she's all over the place. I'm like, yeah, that's the point of the podcast. But have you ever had an awkward conversation at a tattoo place while you're getting a tattoo? Like, what's the most awkward conversation you've ever had?
Oh, I got a story. Okay. So I was getting my elbow tattooed when I was getting...
Wait, your elbow?
Yeah, my elbow.
Bitch, that had to hurt.
It did hurt. It fucking sucked. Oh, friggin' sucked.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Did you not just hear me say that word?
No.
I'm sorry, Aunt Debbie. I
I'm
know
so
she doesn't
focused
like
on
it
me
when I
not
cuss.
gulping my drink in the microphone.
You're not going to.
So, there was a guy. So the room, the place that I used to go was just one big room, and all the artists were in together. So I was getting my elbow tattooed, and this guy walks in, and he's like getting tattooed, and he smiles at me and this and that, and I'm like, whatever. So I go outside to go smoke. Hashtag don't smoke. Like, don't smoke. So I go outside to go smoke, and this guy comes out there, and he's talking to me. Well, whatever, I'll talk.
So this wasn't a tattoo artist. It was
No.
someone else getting tattooed.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I wound up on Misconnections on Craigslist.
What?
Yes, this was like 2010, I think.
What is misconnections on Craigslist?
You need a whole podcast on that, girl. I got you.
What
Look,
is
Misconnection is literally like somebody. So let's say you saw a guy at a gas station, right? That was like
Yeah.
super cute. And you're like, oh, I wish I would have talked to him. What if he thought the same thing? So they get on Craigslist and they put like M4W, like man for woman at gas station or whatever. And then they will like write like what you had on, or like, I would like to meet you. Here's my number. Here's my email, whatever. And so like I messaged the guy. I was like, hey, I was in a relationship. Sorry. Thank you though. Really flattered. But yeah.
So I need to be checking misconnections, because
Yeah.
maybe that's why I'm still single, is I've missed my connection and I'm not on Craigslist looking.
Your long lost connection. Yep.
Wow. Okay. Okay. That's crazy. And so the other question that I have for you is, are you afraid that your tattoos are going to look bad when you are 80 years old? Like, do you think about, you know how people, like, long time ago, like maybe 6-7 years ago, people, like older people would say, why do you have all those tattoos? Do you know what that's going to look like when you're 70, 80 years old? Like, do you think about that?
No.
Me either. And the only reason why I don't is because we're all going to be the same age and we're all going to be tatted up.
Yeah.
We're all going to be 80 years old tatted up.
So I always ask these little old peoples who come in. I'm like, how old's your tattoo? And like one man, he was in the Navy. He had like a pinup girl, like a sailor pinup girl on his arm. And I was like, I love her. He said, I hate the damn thing. And I was like, well, I love it. And, you know, then of course I show him my pinup nurse that's on my leg. And, you know, we start to talking or whatever. But I cover my tattoos up at work, if you've never noticed. I don't
Yeah, and that's why I said I didn't realize you have that many
Oh, yeah. I got a
tattoos,
bunch.
because, I mean, I've seen the ones on your arms and stuff, but not all the way up your arms.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a bunch. I have Live Fast, Die Pretty tattooed on my arm. How awful is that? And you can't even
What's
really...
the story behind that one?
I don't know. I just saw it on MySpace.
Oh, my God.
MySpace. Yes, ma'am. I saw it on MySpace, and it was on my profile.
We
for
need to
like
get
ever.
you a good
An
role
adult.
model.
You need to get me an adult, because that's what I need.
I'll be your adult.
Thank you.
So the people that I had written down that when I said I don't like face or neck tattoos, the only people that I think that can pull off like a lot of tattoos and look crazy are David Beckham, Johnny Depp, Manny Montana.
I don't know who that is.
He's that guy that plays in Good Girls.
Oh.
Yeah.
I've never watched Good Girls.
But he is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Adam Levine and Michael B. Jordan.
These are just random men on my TikTok sometimes that just pop up and I'm like, oh, okay.
I mean, yeah, I feel like it's a personality thing. Like if you have all these tattoos like face, neck, whatever, and then
I want my knuckles tattooed. I do. I don't know what I want them to say.
Live fast, die pretty.
Yeah. So bad.
But so I don't like Justin Bieber's or Chris Brown's tattoos.
Justin Bieber's kind of a pussy though. Like, I mean,
I think it's a personality thing. I think it's like that swag. Like you got to have the swag to back up the tattoos. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because when I first got my tattoos, and the reason why I got some of them removed is because I was like, why am I getting tattoos? I don't have the personality to pull these tattoos off.
My problem, I mean, anybody wants to go get a tattoo. Good for you. Please don't touch me. Tattoo etiquette, people. Please do not touch me.
Tell us the tattoo etiquette.
Don't fucking touch me.
Why do people touch you?
I don't know. I don't know if I don't look that friendly. I don't feel like, but maybe I do. I don't know. I'm in Walmart getting my groceries and this little woman picks my arm up and she just grabs me and looks at my arm and I'm like, I look at her like, I said, what are you doing? She said, I just wanted to look at your tattoos. And I was like,
that's like when people touch pregnant women's bellies. Like
yes,
that's something you
it's
don't
It's
do.
the same thing.
Like just don't touch people. Stay in your bubble.
I had a woman who tried to pray over my belly in the ER.
When you were pregnant?
Yeah.
I don't even remember you being pregnant. Was I gone then?
No, I just literally did not work because I had so many complications. So I just always was at home. But yeah, the little short window that I was pregnant in the ER. But yeah, I worked at the bar and people would like rub my arm. When I was still married, I was at Hooters eating with him and a friend and we're sitting there. It was like daytime. This man was sitting over there with his wife, I assume, his significant other, whatever, and some children. And this man just keeps looking at me and looking at me and looking at me. And finally, I have to go pee. So I go to pee. And when I walk by, he grabs my arm. I thought my ex-husband was going to kill him.
I don't understand that.
I don't know why. Like you feel the need to touch me. Like I don't walk up to somebody who's not tattooed and be like, oh, let me look at your naked arm. I don't do that. Like, don't touch me.
It's like, oh my God, you have a lot of hair on your arms. Can I see it?
Yeah. And then my other biggest pet peeve is they want to talk about tattoos and then they pull up their sleeve and it's like the Tasmanian devil with the rebel flag. Yeah. And they're like, yeah, fuck yeah, you know, like, and I'm just like, yeah, that's a cool tattoo, man.
Yeah.
You know, whatever.
I don't know. I guess they're just conversation starters, maybe.
I guess.
I don't know.
I mean, I'll talk to him about them, but at the same time, I'm just like, I'm just trying to give you your medicine so I can go. Like, I don't want to talk about your Tasmanian devil or rebel flag tattoo. Like, hell yeah. Woo.
Well, I mean, I get it because me and you both, we don't look very friendly at work or ever in life, I guess. Probably why I'm still single. Don't know. You want to talk about that? Do you want to talk about why I'm still single and why I look
we
like
can talk about why you're still single, and here's why.
And
Let me adjust my microphone here.
All right, therapist, I'm ready. I'm writing this down.
So you and Kayla.
God. Kayla, if you're listening, probably not, bitch.
I mean, I can say your last name on here. We can plug you if you want me to.
She's going to be on this podcast, and I cannot wait.
She made a Bumble account, and I did her bio because.
Oh, I remember the shower and B-Pod.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I made her bio, and it was great, and I find her a couple of good ones, and I'm like, yeah, okay, Kayla, this and that. She's just so damn picky.
She is.
But at the same time, you should be picky because
you don't need to settle.
No. And when you talk to females, they're like, oh my God, he's got a full-time job. Bitch, that is a requirement. That is not a perk. Like, he's got all of his teeth. That's a perk. That's not a perk. That's a requirement. Like, I need you to have your shit together for the most part.
Yeah.
You know? But like, same as me, you know, I'm dating somebody now after I got a divorce and it's like, I don't have to have him.
Yeah.
I want him and he wants me and we're fine and we're happy and we're great. And like, it's been wonderful, but I don't rely on him to pay my bills. I don't expect him to buy me a Michael Kors purse. Like I went to the Michael Kors store. I was going to buy my own purse.
You want it, you buy it.
He started a fight with me, told me to put it back because I have too many purses. So in his mind, he was being slick and he was going to buy it for me for Christmas. But I'm like, no, I have money. I have a whole ass job. I have 3 jobs. Like, I can buy this purse. Like, I don't need.
Yeah. I
But
get it.
It's
yeah.
the same thing for you. Like, you have this beautiful, nice home, and you work, and you have, you have a nice like vehicle. You're a good person. You're nice. Like,
You're probably the only one that thinks I'm nice.
I'm
And
not the only one that thinks you're nice.
Well, it's not that I'm mean. It's just like, number one, at work, like I'm in a different role. I have to have this facade because we see so many damaging things. And there's a lot about me that people don't know. That's why I started this podcast. Well, I know it shocked everyone when I told them that my dad had passed away when I was 10 on one of the episodes. And I don't talk about it because, like, everyone has a past. Everyone has a story. Everyone's came from something. And that's why they're in the position they're in.
Right.
And I don't dwell on it. It is what it is, And
I feel like as a nurse practitioner in the ER, sometimes you really have to like earn your keep, and you have to really impress.
Yeah, because
and I don't like the word impress, but like you have to. What am I trying to say? You know what I mean? Like,
well, it's kind of a double-edged sword because you don't get respect from either end, and so you're having to have this battle between the two, and yeah.
Sometimes I feel more comfortable coming to a practitioner because you were me. But then the ones that I know that went straight through, this is awful of me, the ones that went straight through school and they just went to nurse practitioner school, how are you going to tell me what to do?
Well, me and Ivy talked about on the episode that'll be before this one, we talked about like how they're allowing that, and she said that she does agree with it because I think she went straight through, and Ivy's she's different. She's very smart and brilliant and everything. But
I would have never guessed that though.
I didn't either because I was shocked when she told me
and
that.
like how she helps me in a room. Like if she's ever come to see one of my patients, like she helps me turn them and clean them.
No, I mean
do whatever.
she did work as a nurse while she was in school, but she went straight through.
Oh.
But I still think you should have so many years requirement. Like that's just my personal opinion about it because especially that I've done a part-time clinical instructor role in the NP world. Like you can see night and day when there are experienced nurses in there versus brand new people. Like you can just see in the email, the way they talk, their professionalism, and just like, I don't have time to teach you how to be a nurse and to be a practitioner. Like you should already know how to be a nurse.
I agree.
And so, but and it's not that I don't feel like going back to the other conversation, I don't feel like I don't need anyone, like, because I do definitely
You're very down to business at work.
Well, and that's work though. Like I'm not there to make friends. Like sure, it's great if I can find friends, but I'm there to take care of a patient.
But you also are separated. You're in the doc box with physicians, and then all the other nurses are out here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it's not night shift, it's day shift. So like, people are there. So you have to, you can't just like hang out at the freaking desk. You have to take care of patients and stuff like that. But
well, I mean, and there's also things that people don't know. Like when I was a nurse there, like I actually have some social anxiety, and I have, I'm not very confident. I know that seems like people, when they look at me, they think that I am, but I'm actually very not, because I went through a long-term situation. Whatever.
Dude, I feel that though, because sometimes I feel like I'm not very confident in a lot of things,
Yeah. Like I'm not even confident
what
in the fact,
I know.
Yeah.
And I will fight you to the death on it. But like other things, sometimes you're just not confident on stuff, or whether it's yourself or your job or whatever. And so you're just kind of like, and
well, I'm trying to work on that. Like when people are like, "Oh, you're so pretty," I used to tell them to shut up. That was my go-to. I'd be like, "Shut up!" Like, no, I'm not. Like, stop saying that to me. So I'm trying to become more like, "Oh, thank you." Like you would think that would be easy.
You need to watch that video of that little boy who got an avocado for Christmas. Oh, it's an avocado. Thanks. Like, But I'm super weird with compliments too. Like,
Yeah, but
you're so pretty. Your eyeliner's great. And like, in my head, I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. But I'm like, thank you.
But it's just, it's just hard. It's weird.
It's hard.
And I'm just saying, like, so like when I first started working there, and I was initially shy, and there's not a lot of people still there that worked with me. Like I didn't talk to anyone. And then I went through some medical stuff, like with my thyroid, and my hands turned orange and all this other weird shit. Like I got made fun of a lot. Like I got sent home. Okay. So backstory. I had this weird thyroid rare issue, which I'm going to do a solo podcast on so that people can understand that. But I ended up smelling like a fish. So,
oh, that's awful.
Yeah, I did. I smelled like a fish, and something about babies that are born with PKU, where they can't have PKU. So there's another enzyme when you're born. This truly happens to people that it's an enzyme that's not activated. So you smell like a fish your whole life. There's no treatment for it. So a lot of these people commit suicide because they're made fun of a lot. Well, so I couldn't smell it, but everybody else could. So I got called really bad names like pelvic carts, like I got sent home from work because people said I didn't bathe, all this stuff. I could not smell it. So I'm not kidding. This really happened as a nurse on night shift. And so that made me shut down. Like, so I had to start standing up for myself and defending myself because apparently, so we got Dr. Williams involved, who's very, very smart. And she was like, we sent my blood work and stuff off to the Mayo Clinic, who was like, that's very weird. You're 23 years old and this enzyme is halfway triggered. You can't just develop a DNA change at 24 years old. So what it was is I was very into workout stuff at the time, and I was eating a lot of protein, and I was taking this supplement, CLA or something, that on the back of it says may cause fish-like body odor. Yeah. And I was also having thyroid problems at the time that we didn't know, so I wasn't metabolizing any of it off. So I had to go on a vegan diet for a week, nothing but straight green leaf vegetables, and then it went away. And then we sent my blood back to the Mayo Clinic, and that enzyme was back to normal. But it was the weirdest thing that happened to me. But it really changed my outlook on people and who I trusted.
Because that's mean.
It was mean because I didn't know it was going on and it was a medical problem. But even if it wasn't, like, I got points for getting sent home.
I don't.
Yeah, it was crazy. So yeah, I don't open up to a lot of people at work. I'm slowly starting to try to do that. But it's hard when you don't know who you can trust or...
I cannot stand someone to make fun of someone else for the way they look. Like, so I'm on this Facebook group. I'm not going to mention it, whatever. But it's for EMS people, more or less. Like, there's a couple nurses on there, but I'm friends with the guy who runs the page. So he added me, of course. So I'm like an OG. I did the quotation marks, y'all, in case you didn't know. And they posted a picture of this man who has like a genetic disorder, who is actually a very nice man and who is a huge supporter of like first responders, EMS, like all this stuff, whatever. And they made a meme about him and I commented on it like, fuck you. Like, that's so rude. Yeah. Like he's super nice and supports you. And then here you are making fun of him. You know what I'm saying? And like, we can't help things sometimes. Yeah, no. And it's, I mean, yeah, I purposely don't bathe so I can smell like a salmon. No.
Yeah, like it's,
no,
yeah.
That's, I can't stand that shit. Like, I may be like blunt or forward or.
But you're not just
whatever.
downright rude to someone.
But I'm not I will never make fun of someone for, the way they look or their, intellectual like abilities or anything like that, or even what they know and they don't know. I will never make fun of you for that.
Yeah.
But I will make fun of you for lots of other things.
No, I mean, I get it because like with my thyroid stuff.
That's bullshit. They shouldn't have.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that happened to you.
Yeah. And like I
wish I would have been your friend then. I'd have fist fought him.
There's not a lot of people there still that even probably remembers that. And if anyone does listen to this podcast, that goes to work with me, now you know. So yeah.
I don't blame you. I wouldn't be. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I said, I don't blame you. I wouldn't want to be friends with these people either.
Yeah, because with my thyroid stuff, like I don't like it when people make fun of people who gain weight and things like that, because I gained a lot of weight. Like, not that I'm big or anything, but I did gain like 10 pounds in 4 weeks with my thyroid stuff, and it's hard to get off now. And I go to the gym and work out and eat relatively healthy, and people are like, oh yeah, but you look fine. I'm like, yeah, I get it, but I could look a different way with the way I eat and the way I work out. And so it bothers me when people, like, I've had friends come up to me and say that they can't go to the gym or whatever because they feel like they're too big and things like that. And I just hate that people make fun of people for things that they cannot control. Like, a lot of stuff is like, whether it be your thyroid or mental illness or whatever, some people can't control it and people make fun of them for it, and it really bothers me.
Yeah. And that is a stigma, though. You go to the gym and it's like all these people are like super in shape, and you're over here just like a blob of freaking laundry in a sack, and you're just like, I'm going to walk on the treadmill.
But everybody didn't start looking like that.
Right. But you feel that way when you walk in, because I'm definitely not in shape. I'm not huge, but I'm not skinny. And you kind of feel that way. And then, I feel like working out would probably be a good thing, and it would probably help with my mental health type stuff.
Yeah.
Like, make me feel better about myself, because when you're tan or you're skinny and tan, but also tan fat looks better than skinny fat, I guess.
So what mental health stuff are you talking? Like, is that too personal? Can I ask you that?
No, like mental health in general, like just depression, anxiety, stuff like that. Like, I was never, I don't know. We don't have enough time to go into all that.
Yes, we do.
Guess, you know, because like I had a relationship for I'm not even close. I got to drinking. Now I'm super far away now. So I was in a relationship for like a super long time with this guy from high school, and he made me feel really bad about myself. He even told me that he cheated on me because I was fat.
No.
Yeah. So,
oh my God.
I mean, that's a whole nother podcast. You feel me? Like that's so much. It was like 10 years of my life, but just over time, like you feel bad about yourself or you have depression, anxiety, and sometimes you can kind of overcome it. Sometimes you can kind of like get over the hurdle. Sometimes you need a pill. And I always make the joke, I think I need a pill. And so like I got put on like a Zoloft the other day. And like I told you earlier, maybe it's a placebo effect, but like within the 4 or 5 days that I've taken it, like I've mellowed out a little bit. And I feel like you should be aware, and you should never be ashamed to feel like maybe I need a little help. Maybe I need to talk to somebody.
I went through that too. Like I had to talk to my aunt a lot about it because I was so angry all the time, and everyone kept telling me I was depressed, but I was like, I don't feel depressed, but I guess anger is a form of depression for whatever reason. Like you're just internalizing everything and it comes out in anger instead of being sad. So, I mean, I wanted to get on medication because I felt like I'm tired of being angry. I'm tired of fighting this. And then I had to talk to my aunt about it because I was like, she was like, she even said, would you stop taking your thyroid medicine? I said, absolutely not. I was like, I need it. She goes, well, maybe you need this. She was like, just like your thyroid isn't working, your brain isn't either. Yeah. So you need a little help right now. And when she explained it like that, I was like, that makes a lot of sense. But there is a lot of this stigma, like if you're on antidepressants, which half the world is, and we need to look at that.
There are so many people on medicine that you don't even
we need to look at that. Like, why is that? What is going on in this world that we need to be on antidepressants for? Number one, probably a lot of social media that you're comparing yourself to. Number two, a lot of people don't know this, but I do because I have my macro nutrition coaching. Did you know that serotonin and dopamine are actually developed in your gut, and there's this gut-brain barrier? So if you're not eating the proper foods and you're eating all these chemical products and you get leaky gut syndrome, then your dopamine and serotonin leak out of your gut and don't go to your brain.
So I'm basically pooping my happy out.
Well, I mean, everyone's eating chemicals and causing these little micro holes in your intestines. So all your stuff that's supposed to be inside the intestines is going out, and stuff that's outside the intestines is coming in, going to your brain. And I know this, but it's hard. It's hard to change habits. It's hard to not want things like alcohol. I want alcohol. Not that I'm an alcoholic, but it's fun to go out with your friends and have drinks. Like that's a social thing to do.
Or if you want like a glass of wine when you come home from work, like it's super hard. Mental health, and what kills me is like the state our state has, cut funding for that. And so now we see a lot of that in the ER and stuff too. But like, we're one mental breakdown away from being that, like, and then our job is hard, and not that anybody else's job is hard, but you can't compare lives, what I'm saying? But like,
well, I mean, people are triggered.
You need to be aware, and you should never feel ashamed for having some depression or anxiety or, anything else at all. Like you should just be very honest with your provider, your primary care provider, or whoever you go see for that, because
well, you never know what's triggering to someone. For example, if anyone knows me, they know that I talk about my aunt constantly. She is like my rock. She is my therapist, essentially. She's always joking with me, telling me she's going to send me her bill eventually. But me and her had a conversation the other day, and I kind of got a little defensive because we were talking about my podcast, and she's not really a podcast listener. And she was saying, well, maybe you should shorten them, because I think it was like the one with Tasha where it was an hour long. And she was like, she even gave me compliments. She was like, it's really good. Y'all spoke very well. Tasha captures the audience. Like, I love listening to her speak. And then she was like, but have you thought about shortening them? Because she doesn't like to sit and listen to something that you have to pay attention to for a long time. She doesn't even do it with her TV shows because she's always doing something. And I was like, and I got really defensive, and I was like, no, I can't shorten them.
This isn't even long enough for me to talk about all of my trauma and problems.
And I was I was like, you don't understand podcasts. I was like, podcasts are like 45 minutes to an hour long. And if you can't finish it, you just pause it and you come back to it later. But like, that was probably our first big fight in like she was like, she said something and I said something, and it was just like, and what triggered me was I'm always told that what I'm doing isn't good enough, or why am I doing something? And that, to me, from her, even though she wasn't saying that it wasn't good, she gave me compliments and told me it was good. But I thought her telling me to shorten it was like, maybe we don't want to hear you that long.
Yeah, I think a lot of it comes from relationship things, like whether it's a friendship or an actual relationship or like a hookup or a friend or whatever. Like,
everyone wants to be heard.
Yeah, everybody wants to be heard. Everybody wants to compare themselves to someone else. And then, it's like, I wasn't treated the way that I should be treated, but I stuck around, and then hopefully it'll change and this and that. And then the next thing you know, you're fucking depressed and on Zoloft. So here we are,
Yeah, and I mean, like, and I truly believe in therapy. I feel like everyone needs a therapist. But again, it's expensive.
You do.
Like, it's cheaper to get a pill.
Yeah, it is. And that's a whole nother podcast again, because the whole big pharma thing, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm a total believer in vaccines and medication and all the things that you need. But at the same time, it's like talking to a therapist, which I talked to one, which I did the MySpace, or no, not MySpace. Talkspace.
Yeah, Talkspace.
Talkspace is what it was.
Which I got to pick they could sponsor this podcast, and hey, we could get our listeners a code.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, give me free therapy. So
I think nurses should have free therapy anyways. That's just my opinion. We see a lot of shit.
Well, my therapist was actually an old ER nurse, flat nurse. Her husband was an ER physician, and she had kids and stuff like that. So, like, when I got to pick mine, I liked her, because I was like, she can really understand like my work. And then she, like, because you have to separate work and family and life and all that stuff, whatever. But I talked to somebody for a little while, and I felt a ton better. And I was like kind of embarrassed at first to tell my boyfriend like that I was talking to somebody, because you can FaceTime them too, and like have an actual live conversation, or you can just text or whatever. And I was kind of embarrassed at first, and then the more I thought about it, it was like, well, I can't be my best for my child. I can't, I can't be my best for my relationship that I really hope to work. I can't be my best if I'm over here just like anxious as shit and depressed, or not really depressed, but like just in this limbo of emotions, like, and I can't process everything. I can't be my best. So like, I'm gonna take it into my own hands. I'm gonna do it. And my mom has a pretty significant psych history, so like automatically I just assume that I'm just like, oh God, I don't want to be my mom.
Yeah,
nothing wrong with that, but at the same time,
you just want to grow and do the best that you can do.
So I want to catch something now that I can take care of, and then I can work through. And it helped me a lot. And then, I started a medication, and it's for personal reasons.
But I mean, I don't think that we're alone. Like I said, half the world's on it. Like,
dude, if you talk to half of the females that we work with in the ER, they all.
That's what I was saying. Like, I don't think we're alone. A lot of them
take something.
And that says something.
Like, oh, yeah.
I think that does truly say something. And I would love if I could find a therapist that I could actually come on this podcast and actually just talk about mental health, to give people advice and where they could go and strategies and things like that. That would be great. So if anyone knows any therapists out there that would love to be on a podcast to get their name out or whatever, and would love to just give advice to people, hit me up. I mean, DM me, babbles_nonsense, or email me at babblesnonsense@gmail.com and get them on this podcast.
I'm down for some mental health, and especially what we see in the ER. Like, we have like repeat offenders, like, they're regulars. We know them by heart, and they know what to say, to get help, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But then there's some of them that really come in, and they legit need help, and they need to be,
and they don't get it,
and they don't get what they need, and that's sad.
It is sad. But moving on from something sad, I'm so happy that you came on this podcast to talk about crazy crap like tattoos and our toxic relationships and then mental health. It's all tied together.
I feel like we need a part 2 of this podcast.
We will definitely have a part 2. I'm sure
we can talk about relationships. We can talk about
trust and believe. I got you there, girl. Got you there.
I dig it.
But one last thing that I did want to say that I just looked down in my paper and I totally forgot about. This is totally random, going back to the tattoo comment. So I was looking up earlier because I used to watch this tattoo show and I cannot remember what it was called. And it was this beautiful girl on there. And I was like, what? And so I just Googled like beautiful girl tattoo show.
Kat Von D?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was what was her show called? Do you remember? Anyways.
No.
It literally light bulb went off in my head and I was like, oh shit. Kat Von D, the makeup?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the tattoo artist. Two never crossed my mind that it was the same person.
Yeah. Kat Von D. What is her show called?
Yeah. But that was random, I know. Just a random thought.
I'll think about it once you like close this out and I'm like, this is it. Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in to another episode. I hope we did not bore you too much, but we had a good time. I hope you did too. And until next time. Also, I'm going to be changing my shows to Tuesday just to try it out. So be looking for them on Tuesdays. And we will see you next week, guys. Bye.